This is John Thompson, the superintendent of the New Haven Unified School District, hosting our annual student panel. And this is a panel where we get graduating seniors that come together and share a little bit about their experiences with the New Haven Unified School District and some of what got them here, some of what made them successful. And we can learn a little bit more about not only our students, but the different programs that are out there. So at this time, I'm going to ask our panel members to introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Edwin.
My name is Edwin Linus. I'm graduating from Dakota School of Independent Studies, and I'm heading to the United States Marine Corps.
Thanks, Edwin. Benji.
All right. Hi, I'm Benji Buenaflor. I'm graduating from James Logan High School, and I plan to major in cognitive science at UC Berkeley.
Thank you. Vidyuth.
My name is Vidyuth Setapati, and I'm graduating from James Logan High School, and I will be going to UC San Diego for Math and Comp Sci. Thank you.
Ariv.
Hi, my name is Arve Angar, and I'm graduating from James Logan High School, and I'm going to be going to UC Berkeley to study statistics.
Cassandra.
Hi, my name is Cassandra Jimenez. I am graduating from Dakota School of Independent Studies, and I'm going to Ohlone for my general education.
Lindsay.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Cheng, and I'll be graduating from James Logan High School, and I'll be attending UCLA, and I hope to do something in the biology space.
And Mele.
Hi, my name is Mele Abaka. I'm graduating from Conley Carabao High School, and I'm attending Cosmotech for hair.
Fantastic. All right. So a wide breadth of different experiences and going to different places. So let's get into the questions here. We'll start with Vidyuth. What advice would you give your 8th grade self, and what would you do differently or do again?
So I would say that to go out and do a lot more extracurriculars if you want to be successful and go to a good college. I would say that you have to go out and look for opportunities. For instance, like spam emailing professors. So I think that's a big part of what I would tell myself, tell my 8th grade self to do, which I feel like I didn't do a lot of during my time in high school.
Great, thank you. The next question is, what should students do outside of school to help achieve their goals after graduation? Vidyuth mentioned a little bit there. Ariv, do you want to tackle that one too?
Yeah, so I would say just kind of figure out what you like, figure out what you're passionate about, and then see if it's possible, if you can look into maybe what sort of career you would want to go into that you would be excited about, and from there kind of figure out what the steps would be to get to that career. Like me, for example, I love sports, I love math, so I kind of found the field of sports analytics, which is you bring statistics and sports together, and I did some stuff on my own, some projects and whatever, and that got me really excited about it. And that's why I decided to major in statistics. So just kind of figuring out what you like pretty much.
And I think as an example, just a follow-up, you were working, I think, with the Logan Athletics Department, right? You want to share that? Yeah,
I've been working so I started a club in basketball home games. We keep all the stats, and we talk with the coaches, send them emails. So that was just such a great experience for me. And that's part of why I'm so excited to be majoring in statistics.
All right, perfect. Okay, Lindsay.
Yeah, so kind of like what he said earlier, that I think just knowing what you want to do is really helpful. And something personally for me was I knew I liked biology. And so this past summer, I was able to kind of do a summer program and got to meet a mentor in that field. And I feel like just having someone who knows a little bit about the career you're interested in and who can kind of guide you, that's really important. And so I would recommend, if you can find a summer program that's helpful, or if you want to go into trade school, maybe just interning or something that will kind of bridge that gap between high school and whatever career you like. I recommend that.
Great. And Mele, I think you had some thoughts on that too.
Yeah, I agree with both of what they said, and also even if you don't have anything in mind to do after school, I would recommend pushing yourself out there and trying new things. You never know what you might find, and then and then again, student board, it was hard at first trying to go do school and come to meetings, but eventually I got the hang of it and it wasn't as bad as I thought.
That's good. You did great. Thank you all. All right. For those attending college next year, what activities are most helpful in getting into college? Benji, why don't you tackle that? And as Benji was one of our other student board members, I don't know if you want to reference that experience as well, but your thoughts.
Yeah. I think like right now there's like so much like emphasis placed on doing like so many like outside of school activities, like starting an internship or like not starting an internship, like being a part of an internship or starting a nonprofit. But I definitely think like there's like enough like opportunities and like programs at like our NHUSD districts that you could like definitely succeed even without like seeking out those like outside scholarship or outside like opportunities. Like personally for me, I think like 99% of my like extracurriculars were like school related or like tangentially like related to school, like student board member, like being a part of leadership, just like being a part of like a lot of clubs and just like, yeah, just like being involved in like a lot of school programs and just like, yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm sure if there are any 8th graders, soon to be 9th graders listening, that's good advice, because not only do we have a lot of programs at Logan and at our other schools too, that you don't have to necessarily go outside to do something different. That's good to know. And thank you. That's great. So Lindsay, I think you had that question too, right?
Yeah, so I guess kind of going off of what Benji said also, that just kind of focusing on academics is always going to be something you can work on. And also, like they all said earlier, just looking for something you're passionate about, just kind of picking a subject. For me, that was biology. So I kind of found that sophomore year, and then kind of just doing your activities sort of in that same space. But at the same time, you can also kind of look to explore different things you're interested in. And then another thing was just essays, I guess. A lot of them do require that. So just making sure to start early, which would be my advice to myself. And looking at YouTube videos or anything that can help you kind of get prepared mentally for that. And then I guess my last thing is just when you're trying to figure out sort of the schools you want to apply to, I think also looking at fit is really important. So I know some people are kind of worried about, rankings and things like that. But for me, I kind of fell into that also. But then I kind of had to realize, it's kind of where you will fit best in a college and, where you can explore and grow and things like that. So
Great. Thank you. That's great to know. All right. One question that I know students out there wonder about is advanced placement classes. Logan has a lot of them. You can take them at DSIS as well if you want. And how important are they? Just your thoughts on that for those of you that have taken them. So we'll start with Arav here.
Yeah, so I think taking APs is definitely important just because they do go deeper into the subject than most normal classes. But at the same time, I don't think that you should kind of take APs just for the sake of taking them. Like, I think just taking APs in subjects that you're interested in is the best way to go. Like, me personally, I did calculus, I did physics, I did the English classes, but I didn't do like AP Bio or AP Chem because I don't really like those subjects. And I'm pretty happy I made that decision, honestly. So just not like, don't kill yourself doing APs, just do what you're interested in.
Well, as a former AP Bio teacher, it hurts me to hear you say you didn't like AP Bio. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's great advice, though. Find something out and then dig into that, take classes and find activities that relate to that. And in the end, whether you're going to the Marines or to college, you're going to have a story to go along with it. And if you're writing that college essay, that sounds like that it would be really helpful with that. Did I capture that about right? That sound about right? All right, let's get a second opinion on the AP classes. So Vidyuth, what do you think?
First of all, they show how you would function with college level difficulty, and they also allow you to explore your passions in much greater depth than normal classes would. However, I kind of had a different experience than Arv here because I know that I wanted to do comp sci, but with respect to the sciences, I wasn't really like I didn't really have any inclination, so I just took all of the sciences. So that was kind of my experience. So yeah, that kind of really helped me figure out what I wanted to do. So which was so yeah, I guess it all depends on you personally.
Logan, of course, is what we all hear about, and we have, it has great programs, and obviously we send students all over the place from Logan. But we have a couple great other options for students that are looking for something a little different, and we have representatives here from DSIS and Connolly Carabello. Why don't we start with Mele, who goes to Connolly Carabello? Can you share what you think are the pros and the cons about taking that pathway as opposed to Logan?
I would say some pros include like flexibility over there and more personalized like learning experience. And like some cons might like involve limited resources, but recently or like this year, like including last year as well, like I wouldn't typically say a con would involve limited resources because our staff make sure that like all the students have what they need, if that makes sense. Like going out their way to find programs or whatever that student may need. So yeah.
Thank you. That's great. So, and Connolly does provide that more personalized experience through your high school years. DSIS is a little bit different. So, Edwin, you want to share your thoughts on DSIS?
For Dakota School of Independence, for me, the pros is it teaches you responsibility because think about it, you're doing it. It's independent studies. You don't have a teacher who's teaching you in class, but you could go to them. And for example, for tests, I had to go in and they would really guide me. I think Dakota School, if you are struggling or you feel like you don't fit into Logan or you don't feel like it was right for you, I would think Dakota School definitely helped. It helped me. I felt like I didn't know where to go. And when I went to Dakota School of Independence, the teachers, the staff, everyone welcomed me and I learned a lot. And I think the cons, I don't think there's cons. I would tell anyone that Dakota School of Independent really did actually change my future.
Wow.
That's what I think.
That's great. And I know we're continuing to expand that program. So you could take classes at Logan concurrently if you wanted to, or at Ohlone, or a lot of different options that we can kind of create your own path. So I'm glad it worked out well for you.
Definitely.
That's great. All right. Next question is, when should students start preparing for applying for college, preparing for your career, going to the military? What steps should a student be thinking about when they enter high school to prepare for that next step? And Edmund, we'll come back to you with that one.
Honestly, for me, for setting up in the Marine Corps, you have to be very physically fit. I actually used to be 216 pounds and now I went to 150.
Wow.
So I did a huge weight loss journey just to fit in there. And you have to be mentally strong because to be a United States Marine it's not given, it's earned. And I think you definitely have to be very strong in the mind and very fit, for example.
Wow, congratulations. That's quite a change. Wow. All right, Cassandra, how about you?
I'd say for applying to college, I originally wanted to do a university, but I wasn't able to because I wasn't educated. I didn't educate myself. So I feel like when it comes to people interested in universities and college, you should definitely check out the requirements. And that's yeah.
All right, so check early and often, right? I guess, yeah, that's good. A lot of different pathways to get to the university, though, and Ohlone is a great one. Save yourself a few dollars, too, while you're at it. All right, so those are the end of our formal questions. All of you have been you're completing your 13th year of education and getting ready to launch for your next step. So all of you have had different experiences through our district, and I'd like you to take a moment, if you can, to share an experience you might have had with a staff member who really helped you get where you are. So shout out to somebody who might have helped you along the way.
I would like to shout out Miss T, not only for helping me like with schoolwork, but also like if I needed somebody to talk to or helping hand with anything I needed. Also, not just myself, but also for other students as well, helping them with schoolwork, like individually if they needed. Also for, I also mentioned like personally for me, she impacted my schoolwork and also that she impacted my sister's schoolwork because she also entered college last year.
Wow, thank you. All right. How about you, Arun?
I would like to thank Mr. Cabcabin. He was my English 2 teacher in sophomore year, and that club that I mentioned earlier, where we worked with the basketball team, he was a huge help in getting that off the ground. Really, we wouldn't have been able to do that without him. And in fact, his class is actually kind of the reason why I became interested in sports analytics, because we did this thing where they called Google 20% project, where every Friday we got to work on anything we wanted pretty much. And then we did a presentation at the end of the year. So that was I worked on a project with a couple of my friends where we learned to code, and then we created a model to predict the NBA playoffs. And that was kind of my first exposure to sports analytics, and that kind of got me hooked. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Kaplan.
Wow, thank you. Edwin, how about you?
I'd like to thank all the staff at Dakota School of Independent Studies for making me feel welcome. But the specific persons, 2 people I would like to thank is my advisor, who was my advisor for 3 years, Miss Moore. She welcomed me in ever since I started, and she always kept me on track. And I for sure know that when I was lacking, I would get that email from Miss Moore. And I like to thank her for making me actually like school and making me feel very welcome for when I really didn't think much about school. And she definitely changed a lot. And I like to thank Miss Stevens, my counselor, who helped me and listened to me when I needed it. And she also made sure that everything I needed, for schedule change, my community service hours, everything was on point. And she's always checking up on me. I like to thank both of them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Lindsay, why don't you share which staff members made the biggest impact on you?
So wow, there's so many to name, honestly. I couldn't name just one because I feel like there's been a lot of influential people. I think one is definitely my biology teacher, Miss Noche. She tells these really funny stories, and I think she's the reason why I got into biology. And so I really would like to thank her so much for influence. And also there's a few other teachers who've been influential to me, including my chemistry teacher, Mr. Ting, my statistics teacher, Mr. Farzad, my history teacher, Ms. Farmer, my coaches, Coach Cedric and Coach Chantel, and my counselors, Miss Alvite and Miss Meza. And there's so many other people I feel like who've been really influential in my life at this point, and I really want to thank them so much.
Thank you. All right, Cassandra, how about you?
I'd like to thank Zoya Zilberman. She was my teacher for 3 years in DSIS. She really set very high expectations for myself, even when I was not believing I could do any of that. And I just really appreciate her because she was a great influence on me during my high school career. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Vidyuth.
I would like to thank the twin goats, Miss Noche and Mr. Pruka, in their respective fields, biology and calculus. I feel like they taught the subject in a way that really made it appreciated on a deeper level than I ever thought I could. I did not expect to like biology that much, but I did not expect to actually enjoy memorizing every single step of photosynthesis. But and I did not expect to enjoy series and power series and Taylor series quite as much. But thanks to their guidance, it was genuinely a really fun ride. So thank you, Ms. Noche and Mr. Pruka.
Thank you. All right, Benji.
I'd personally just like to thank every staff member who's supported me on my leadership journey. So I'd like to thank Mr. Malcolm, Mr. Pava, and Miss Pierre, just helping and supporting me, support other students in just leadership. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to my middle school leadership teacher, Mr. Straley. He really just helped kindle that passion for me. So thank you.
All right, thank you.